Do you look at the new cool purchases in the gem store and want to grab them without paying real money? Does 2,800 gems for 1,139 gold seem like an unreachable goal? With this series as a guide, it should quickly become achievable within a reasonable timescale, even if you want to get there while staying within your preferred playstyle. In this video, I'd like to go through my philosophy of gold in Guild Wars 2 that allows me to have fun and save up, whether I play open world or instance PvE, PvP, or world versus world. This series will cover how you can change your experience of gold making and get those delicious invisible boots for your statistically human female mesmer. At the end there will be links to videos with more specific ways to earn gold, but before we get there, some basics on the why and where to stop of gold needs to be addressed. If you feel like you already have those answers for yourself, feel free to skip to the end cards to find the specific videos, because in this video we'll be focusing on the mindset and basics. The main questions we'll be answering is: why do you want gold, and how do you make gold gain compatible with your preferred way of playing the game? It's all about the wanting to spend less time earning gold while not having to do boring stuff either. For me, the hellish example is Fishing Wars 2. While it's one of the most efficient ways to earn gold, it feels like I'm actively avoiding actually playing the game. To find my way around that, I'll be talking about two ways of earning gold. The short-term gains, those that you can mostly jump in and play at any level 82 and begin seeing results from immediately, as well as the long-term gains, which take less active play but usually require an upfront time or gold investment to unlock. But before we get there, I'd like to focus on the way that Guild Wars 2 make gold the gameplay in and of itself. That is, well, gold is gameplay in Guild Wars 2. Let me explain that statement. Once you reach max level and obtain your first set of ascended armor, the game's vertical progression stops and leaves you to figure out which horizontal goal you want to reach next. Once a goal is reached, it generally remains relevant for the rest of your game time. No new item level makes your gear irrelevant, and no new character level cap makes you need to remake your entire build. The extreme end to this is the convenience of legendary items. Weapons, armor, accessories, runes, sigils, and relics. These items mean an end to striving for anything similar again. Once you have a piece of legendary light chest armor, it can morph into any stat combination in the game, and as more are released, they are added to its options. This means that total endgame freedom can be earned. Weapons are the purest expression of this. In just 39,988 gold, you can get each of the 19 weapon types in legendary quality off of the trading post. The 7 runes, 6 sigils, and 1 relic you need are a bit more complicated, requiring a bunch of material conversions, but in the end, only the obsidian shards can be purchased with pure gold. And again, with the legendary armor, you'll need map currencies and, depending on your set, legendary insights from raids and strike missions. However, the bulk of the effort lies in the gold required. About 450 gold per piece of legendary armor, 685 gold per sigil, 592 gold per rune, 2,015 gold for the relic, 1,203 gold for the cheapest back piece, and 9,546 gold for the trinket slots. A set of each armor class, light, medium, and heavy, 7 runes, 6 sigils, 1 relic, 19 weapons, 1 back piece, 2 rings, 2 accessories, and 1 amulet, all put together, that comes out to 70,466 gold at the filming of this video. After that small investment, the only thing you can really spend gold on is cosmetics. And luckily for you, they're rarely more expensive than the 9,700 gold for this cosmetic confetti infusion. Even the gem store is basically a gold store, as gold can be converted into gems. 600 gems for another bank slot? Nah, that's just 245 gold for another bank slot. Lots of quality of life that seems to be locked away behind paying real money is actually pretty accessible when you're ready to convert gold into gems to purchase it. Some of the things I find most useful to buy for gold are the extra character slots, extra material storage, the silver-fed salvage-o-matic, and the infinite gathering tools. We'll get into how you can get to that point of economic freedom in a bit, but that means that most progression in the game can be purchased with gold. Gold is the gameplay of the game. And when that's the case, well, it seems almost like I have to play the game for optimal gold gain. So what's the most absolutely efficient way to gain gold? According to the Fast Farming Community's website, which is one of my favorite Guild Wars 2 community tools and is linked in the description below, there are 6 daily metas, although 3 of them are actually takes on the same meta, and most of the weekly strikes with or without challenge modes active before the most efficient use of your time becomes fishing in a desert with a depressing cloud of undead farts hanging over it. So cursed with this knowledge, it seems I have to really stop playing the game to play the game optimally, but it just sucks. Thinking with a graph of just time and gold coordinates makes the game itself irrelevant. After all, if I'm fishing all day or doing easy weekly content, what am I even playing this game for? There's no fun left. Fun. Of course, that has to be our third factor to let this take off properly. Time, gold, and fun. Putting fun into my considerations, I immediately trash fishing, Silver Waste's chest farming, and the Giala Delve meta. That last one is because I never really personally got around to doing the Giala storyline and nothing specifically compelled me to go back to it, so I'll probably have to go back there to cover the gold making video where I speak of meta events. For now though, the calculation has flipped. I'm looking for what content I enjoy the most and then figuring out how I can optimize that without ruining my own fun. In short, optimal gold for time investment within the boundary of what I actually enjoy doing. After all, we're not actually competing with anything but ourselves when we play Guild Wars 2. In World of Warcraft, your gear is only relevant until the next raid tier comes out, so spending the same amount of gold later in the patch cycle outputs less enjoyment per gold spent. The same isn't true in Guild Wars. Here your goal never becomes irrelevant, so the journey towards that goal matters a lot more. With the priority set straight, fun, time, gold, it's time to think like a business bro. Because there are some small places where you can invest the gold you have to make it less bothersome to gain more gold in the future. But that requires gold, and so we have to talk about... Some gold can be made immediately by putting in playtime right now and getting the gold at the end of that playtime. This is a short-term gain, and they are the primary way most players will earn their gold in video games. These are often activities and consume a medium amount of time for a single loop. That loop could be doing the Defense of Amnita's meta event, completing a PvP match, fishing for an hour, running with the World vs. World circle until taking over Stone Mist Castle, or doing the Icebrood Saga's daily strike rotation. Either loop is fine and gives you some resources that can be converted into gold or kept for your own projects. But over time there are a bunch of ways to take the gold you've earned from doing short-term activities and turn them into investments in longer-term gains. The most immediate is turning those spirit shards you gain from consuming level tomes at max level into gold in the Mystic Toilet. This method simply requires gold to buy the resources to convert from the trading post and patience to have that gold unavailable while they sell. Another way is getting a profession like weaponsmithing, huntsman or artificer to 400. This enables turning the map currencies from Secret of the Obscure into weapons that sell on the trading post with profits of 9 to 10 gold as of the recording of this video. Grieving Consecrated Syrinx X for Inaneus, Storm's Eye for Skywatch Archipelago, and Shaman Stormforge for Amnitas. You can purchase the recipes for all these weapons from this vendor in the Wizard's Tower, as well as this vendor in Inanias. These might take weeks to sell each, but it will happen, and usually it's much faster. And as a more extreme example, parking characters at the large quartz crystal node in Crystal Oasis gives 30 silver a day by logging in, harvesting, selling, and logging out. That means that purchasing a character for 800 gems, which is simply 315 gold, gets you a 30 silver daily login reward forevermore. Granted, that takes 1050 days of logging in and grabbing that character to pay off. So how about working on the legendary shortbow Kustu to unlock the hidden garden potential for 1 gold, 82 silver daily with a parked character? That reduces that number to 173 days. Of course, this investment also means that you have another character you can play around on. Characters you primarily play World vs. World or player vs. player on might as well be parked at a node, since those activities take place on maps that you can always return directly to the node from. Of course, if you expect to need your gold for something in the next couple of months, it makes no sense to invest in a character slot that hasn't paid itself off for the next 3 years of active gameplay, which circles back to the business bro reference. Investing money in real life has the core mantra of don't invest money that you can't afford to lose. If you need the gold, it shouldn't be spent on fancy long-term investments, but whenever I cross into the 300-400 gold area, I start looking for ways that I can have some of that gold working for me instead of simply piling up in my inventory. Anything that takes me at most 3 minutes to act on is what I consider passive, and passive income is king in making you feel like there's less space between you and the next objective. But whether you feel like making long-term investments are for you, or if that makes you feel like fishing does me, fishing. There are loads of ways to make enough gold to make real progress towards your goals, no matter what those goals are. And that's what this series is all about. Whether you prefer to do open world PvE, instanced PvE, player versus player, world versus world, or long-term investments, I have another video for you here and more to come. Just click the one that interests you the most, and if nothing above fits your perfect playstyle, drop a comment below so I can include that in a future video.